Today, we're going to talk about getting set up to write some code. The first thing we're going to talk about is the command line on your computer. The command line is a tool that allows you to type commands into a window in order to talk to your computer's operating system. You can do things like navigate and manage the file system on your computer, and you can also use the command line to run programs that you're going to write. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. To access the command line on a Mac, you're simply going to type command spacebar, and that's going to open up the Spotlight search. You're going to type in terminal. That's going to open up your terminal shell. And in order to access the command line on Windows, you're simply going to type Windows X. That's going to bring up the Power Users menu, and then you're going to go ahead and scroll down and click on Command Prompt or PowerShell. So once you've got the command line opened up, you're going to see a blank window here, and you're going to see a cursor that indicates where you can type commands into. And as a budding software developer, you're going to be using the command line all of the time to write code. So it's a good idea to start getting comfortable with it early on. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the file system on your computer. So as you can see in my Finder window, I've got some directories here, and inside of those directories I've got more directories, and so on and so forth. It's really easy to click around here and navigate my file system. I can do things like create files, I can do things like create directories, I can move things around if I want to, and I can actually do all of those same things here in my command line. And that's what we're actually going to dive into today. Alright, so go ahead and navigate back to your command line. And the very first command that we're going to learn is pwd. So go ahead and type in pwd onto your command line and press enter. Now pwd stands for print working directory. It's going to print out your current location in the file system. And as you can see, my current location is inside of the Michael directory, inside of the users directory. And the next command that we're going to learn is the list command. It's going to be ls for Mac users. It's going to be dir for Windows users. And go ahead and type that in and press enter. And what the list command is going to do is it's going to list out all of the contents of my current directory. It's going to tell me everything that exists inside of my Michael directory. And if I look into my Finder window over here, you can see that I get the same list of directories showing up here as I do right here. So I'm currently inside of Michael, inside of users. And let's say that I now want to create a brand new directory. In order to do that, I would simply type mkdir space and then the name of the directory I want to create. So in this case, we're simply going to call it new-directory. And then we're going to hit enter. And now what we've done is we've just created a brand new directory on our file system. And if I type in the ls command for Mac, and it's going to be dir for Windows, I'm going to see that I have my brand new directory existing here inside of my Michael directory. And so let's say we actually wanted to navigate into that new directory that we just created. We wanted to move from the Michael directory where we currently are, and we wanted to navigate into the new directory that we just created. So we're going to type in cd space and then the name of the new directory that we want to move into. So So CD stands for change directory. And I'm going to press enter. And I've just navigated into new directory. And if I type ls here, you can see that I don't get anything printed out. The new directory that I created is completely empty. Now you'll notice I've gotten to the bottom of my command line window here. I can continue writing commands, and everything is just going to sort of scroll up as I continue writing commands. But let's say I wanted to just move my cursor to the top of the window. And in order to do that, I'd simply type in clear. It's going to bring me back to the top of the command line, and it's going to give me sort of a blank slate to work with. So I'm inside of new directory now, and if I type in pwd, you're going to see that printed out. I'm inside of new directory, inside of Michael, inside of users. Now let's say I actually wanted to navigate from new directory back up one level into the Michael directory. In order to do that, I would simply type cd space ... And ... is going to give us a reference to our parent directory. And when I type that and I press enter, I move back into my parent directory. I move back into the Michael directory. If I type pwd now, you'll see I'm inside of Michael, inside of users. So let's say we want to go back into our new directory. We're going to cd space new directory and press enter. We've just navigated back into new directory. We're going to do pwd again, and we get that updated file path of our current location. Let's run that ls command for Mac or dir for Windows, and we can see that our directory is completely empty. So now inside of my new directory, let's say that we wanted to create a new file. We wanted to create a brand new file in our file system. For Mac users, it's going to be touch space and then the name that you want to give your new file. For Windows users, it's going to be type space null space and then the name that you want to give your file. So since I'm on Mac, I'm going to go with touch. And I'm going to type in touch newfile.js and I'm going to press enter. And I've just created a brand new file in my file system. If I type ls now, you can see that I get that new file showing up as contents of my current directory. So we've just created a brand new file in our file system. Now let's say that we want to remove this file for some reason. We would use the rm command. So it'd be rm space and then the name of the file that we want to remove. We'd press enter. Now we've just removed our file. So we can type ls again and we can show that our directory is now empty again. So let's say we actually wanted to get rid of this directory that we created, this new directory. Now we are currently in that directory and we are not able to delete the directory that we're currently in. So what we're going to do is we're going to cd back up to the parent directory, and now we're going to be able to remove that directory. So let's go ahead and run clear to clear our terminal window, bring us back to the top. We're going to run the ls command, and we're going to see our new directory there. And let's say we want to remove it now. So we're simply going to type rm space -rf. And then the name of the directory that we want to get rid of. And press enter, and we've just gotten rid of that directory. If I type ls again, we're going to see that it no longer shows up as the contents of my home directory. So we've just covered a few basic commands for navigating and manage your file system on the command line. You're going to be using these commands all of the time when you're writing code. So feel free to rewind the video, rewatch it, and play around with these commands on your own file system. Play around with creating directories, creating files, moving in and out of folders. And once you've mastered these commands, feel free to learn more. There are a ton of free resources online for using the command line. So stay tuned for the next lesson where we're actually going to cover using a code editor, which is another tool that you're going to be using to write code.